Somewhere along the line, we started treating stress like it's this monster lurking in the corner, waiting to destroy our lives. We've been told to reduce stress, eliminate stress, as if the ultimate goal is to live in a bubble where nothing ever challenges us. But let's be honest, the only people with zero stress are the ones no longer breathing. If you're alive, if you care, if you're striving for anything meaningful, stress is going to show up. The problem isn't stress itself. The problem is how we manage it, or rather, how we fail to manage it. Think about it. Stress is really just feedback. It's your mind and body saying, something matters here. Pay attention. When you feel that pressure before a big presentation, it's not because you're broken, it's because your brain understands the stakes. When you're up late worrying about your kids, it's because you love them deeply. Stress signals engagement, investment, and care. The challenge is that we often confuse the signal with the threat. Instead of hearing, hey, focus here, you're not enough, you're in danger, you're falling behind. That misinterpretation is when the spiral begins. The truth is, the very thing you're trying to run away from, that tightening in your chest, tension in your shoulders, is the same thing that, if channeled correctly, could become the fuel that propels you forward. It's like fire. Uncontrolled, fire burns down your house. Harnessed, fire keeps you warm, cooks your food, lights the way in the dark. Stress works the same way. It's not inherently destructive, it's neutral energy. What matters is the meaning you attach to it and the system you build to handle it. Most people operate in reactive mode. Something stressful happens and they wait until they're completely overwhelmed before doing anything about it. That's like waiting for your car engine to blow before you ever change the oil. You wouldn't do that to your car, yet we do it to our minds and bodies all the time. We push, 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 no release valve, no recovery, until one day we break down. And then we call it burnout, depression, anxiety, when in reality it's the cumulative effect of ignoring the warning lights. What I want you to understand is the S. Stress doesn't have to be the enemy you fight. It can be the ally you listen to. When you start treating it as a message, you can decode it. Ask yourself, what is this stress trying to tell me? Is it asking me to prepare better? Is it telling me I need to slow down? Is it revealing that I'm spending too much time on things that don't align with my values? Every time you engage with stress from that place of curiosity instead of fear, you build resilience. There's a psychological shift that happens when you stop trying to eliminate stress and start learning to master it. You reclaim your power. Because if you believe stress is this uncontrollable force that only happens to you, you're at its mercy. But when you realize it's a signal you can interpret, respond to, and even use to sharpen your focus, suddenly you're not drowning. You're surfing. You're riding the same wave that used to knock you over. And here's the beautiful parting. We feel wrong. When you master that perspective, life doesn't have to get easier for you to thrive. You don't need the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect health to feel grounded and capable. You can walk into uncertainty, face challenges head on, and still maintain clarity because you've trained yourself to handle the energy of stress, not fear it. So the next time you feel that familiar surge in your body, your heart racing, your thoughts speeding up, don't immediately reach for distraction. Don't numb it out. Don't tell yourself it's a sign you can't cope. Pause. Breathe. Ask what the message is. Is this a moment to act? Is this a moment to prepare? Is this a moment to let go? If you do that consistently, you'll stop seeing stress as a countdown to burnout and start seeing it as a compass pointing you toward growth. The bottom line is this: you can't live a meaningful life without some level of stress. It's not about escaping it, it's about mastering the art of using it. Don't kill the messenger. Learn the message. When you do, stress stops being the fire that burns you out and becomes the fire that lights you up. We've been taught our whole lives to manage our time. Schools, companies, productivity gurus. They all tell us the secret to success is organizing every hour of your day, color-coding your calendar, squeezing maximum efficiency out of every minute. And yes, time management matters. But let's get real. What good is a perfectly organized schedule if the person living it is exhausted, depleted, and mentally checked out? That's why I believe the real game changer isn't time management. It's energy management. Think about it. You can give two people the exact same 24 hours. One person ends the day energized, and the other ends it completely drained. The difference isn't the clock, it's their energy reservoir. When you're running low, every task feels heavier. A 5-minute phone call feels like an hour. A simple decision feels like a burden. But when your energy is high, you move faster, you think clearer, you solve problems with creativity. Stress still shows up, but it doesn't own you. We tend to treat our energy like it's infinite, as if we can just keep pushing without any consequence. But your energy is a currency, and if you keep spending without depositing, we feel wrong. You're going to go bankrupt. That's burnout. And here's the trap: most people wait until they hit that rock bottom before they think about recharging. They think rest is a reward they'll earn after they push through the work. But the truth is, recovery isn't a reward. It's a requirement. Without it, you're operating on borrowed time. Managing energy means becoming deeply aware of things that fuel you and the things that drain you. That's physical energy, emotional energy, and mental energy. You get 8 hours of sleep, but if you wake up dreading your day, your emotional energy is already low. You could be doing work you love. If you're neglecting your body, your physical energy will collapse. This is why you have to approach your life like an athlete approaches their sport. Training, performing, and recovering in cycles. No athlete performs at peak every second of the day. They train hard, then they rest hard because they understand that recovery is part of performance. And here's something we rarely talk about. Not all stress is bad, but chronic stress with no recovery is deadly. Physiologically, your nervous system is designed to handle short bursts of challenge, then return to baseline. But in our modern lives, we stay on all day. Emails, notifications, problems to solve, people to please. That's like holding a dumbbell in your hand without ever putting it down. It's not the weight that destroys you. It's the fact that you never release it. So how do you shift? First, you start identifying your non-negotiables for renewal. This could be movement work, meaningful conversation, prayer, laughter, time in nature. Anything that genuinely restores you. And you schedule them with the same seriousness you schedule meetings. You wouldn't casually cancel a meeting with your boss. Don't casually cancel a meeting with your own well-being. Second, you learn to protect your peak energy hours. Everyone has certain times of the day when their mind is sharper, their focus is deeper. For some, it's morning. For others, it's late at night. Instead of wasting those hours on shallow tasks, use them for your most important work. This is how you work with your energy instead of against it. Third, you start paying attention to your mental diet. Just like junk food can wreck your physical energy, junk input, constant negative news, gossip, complaining, can wreck your mental energy. If you wouldn't let someone dump garbage into your living room, why would you let them dump garbage into your head? This isn't about building a life where you never get tired or stressed. That's fantasy. It's about building a system where you recover faster than you deplete, so you're never running on empty. When you master energy management, something incredible happens. You stop living in survival mode and start living in performance mode. You stop dragging yourself through the day and start attacking the day with intention. So here's the question I want you to walk away with. Are you living like a candle burning at both ends, hoping you won't run out of wax, or are you living like a fire that keeps getting fed? Because the difference between burnout and breakthrough isn't about how many hours you have. It's about how much energy you bring to those hours. Manage that, and time will start working for you instead of against you. One of the most underestimated drivers of stress, and one of the most overlooked tools for transforming it, is the way you talk to yourself. I'm not talking about affirmations taped to your bathroom mirror, though those can help. I'm talking about the constant running dialogue in your head, the private conversation that never stops. Because here's the truth, and your brain listens to you more than it listens to anyone else. And the tone you use with yourself will determine whether stress fuels you or burns you out. Think about it. You can have two people facing the same exact challenge. One says to themselves, "This is impossible, I can't handle this, I'm going to mess it up." The other says, "This is tough, but I can figure it out. I've handled worse before." The external situation hasn't changed, but the internal dialogue has completely altered the emotional experience. One person is triggering their own fight or flight response before the challenge even begins. The other is priming their mind to look for solutions. When your self-talk is filled with urgency, self-criticism, and catastrophic what-ifs, your nervous system gets locked in overdrive. You don't just feel stressed, you will become stress. Your body starts pumping cortisol as if you're being chased by a predator, even though predator is just a late email or a tough conversation. And here's the kicker. Your brain's ability to solve problems drops dramatically when you're in that state. The very thinking you need to get out of the situation gets clouded by the fear you're creating with your own words. But when you change that inner language, you change the way your body responds. This isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. I'm not suggesting blind positivity or delusion. I'm talking about conscious mental framing. choosing language that keeps you resourceful instead of reactive. Questions are one of the most powerful tools here. If you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain will happily search for reasons you're cursed, incompetent, or unlucky. But if you ask, what can I do right now that would make things better? Your brain shifts gears. It starts scanning for solutions instead of stacking up evidence for your failure. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers. And the quality of your answers shapes the quality of your life. That's not philosophy. That's neuroscience. Your brain has what's called the reticular activating system, a kind of mental filter that decides what to notice and what to ignore. When you ask empowering questions, you train that system to focus on possibilities and resources instead of threats. That doesn't make the challenges disappear, but it changes your relationship with them. When we feel wrong, I want you to remember that self-talk isn't just about the words you say, it's about the emotional weight behind them. You can tell yourself, I've got this, but if you say it with the same energy you'd use to order a sandwich, it won't shift your state. The tone matters, the intensity matters. Your nervous system responds to emotion more than logic. This is why athletes, before a big game, don't just quietly whisper, I'll do my best. They pump themselves up. They move their bodies, change their breathing, speak with certainty. They created the state they need to perform. You can do the same in your everyday life. But it starts with noticing the way you speak to yourself when stress hits. Now, here's the challenge act. Most of us never slow down long enough to even hear our self-talk. It's so automatic that we accept it as truth. But your inner dialogue is not truth. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. You can train your mind to respond to stress with language that empowers instead of paralyzes. But it's a skill, and skills take practice. That means catching yourself mid-spiral and shifting from, this is going to crush me, to this is going to teach me, from, I can't do this, to I'll figure it out, from this is the end, to this is the beginning of something better. The reality is, life isn't going to stop throwing challenges your way. People will disappoint you, plans will fall apart. Unexpected problems will land in your lap at the worst possible time. You can't control every event, but you can't control the conversation you have with yourself about those events. And when you do, you take back a level of power that most people never tap into. Here's the bottom line: if you want to change how stress affects you, change the way you speak to yourself about it. Because stress doesn't just come from what's happening outside you, it's amplified or diminished by what's happening inside you. Speak to yourself like someone you love. Feel wrong, someone you believe in, and you'll be amazed at how much more capable, resilient, and unshakable you become.